Hey guys, welcome to Lounge TV. I'm Larry, and today I am doing a new project. So right now my retina is getting burnt because the sun is really bright, but it is still chilly here, and it's only chilly because of the wind. We're supposed to get up to 40-mile-an-hour winds today. It's like 2 days in a row now, and then tomorrow's supposed to be windy, and then finally we're going to get into some warm stuff. But anyway, so my project today is the tabletops. So as you can see, my wife keeps flowers on these two tables right here, so she constantly waters them. So what happened here, let me see, I'll move this to the side here. As you can see, look at the rot on there. Yeah, so I'm going to take these off and I'm going to replace these boards. I don't think anything's bad underneath it because, see, these boards are spaced underneath there, so it'll probably be just replacing these three and I'll probably be good with that. So this one over here, let me move this, is just the middle board. That's still solid, and that's still solid, so it's just the middle board, so I'll be replacing that. On here I used my router, as you can see, on the edges of it, so I'll have to do that with the new ones. Now unfortunately, of course, they're not going to match the rest of the deck, but we're going to be restaining all this hopefully this year anyway. So I'll put 2-3 coats of stain on that to see if it'll look new, just like when I did the deck over here on where the tiki bar is. That was new when I did that, so it's starting to blend in now. The older it gets, it tends to get a little bit darker. As you can see, it blends in with the rest of it. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen with the new one. I'll show you my project I did yesterday. I didn't film it because it would have been too hard. I would have had to have Tom out here for about 6 hours to film this because it took me a long time to do this. But the duck house, I changed it from an A-frame to a slant. And the reason why is because, I'll show you on the back here, I have hinges back here now, right here and over on there, so that the roof, I could just tilt the whole roof up and clean it out that way instead of having to pull the tray out of the bottom, which means I'm going to be able to attach that board to the bottom because I won't have to pull the tray out. But yeah, the ducks are still really tired because here ducks nap kind of all day long, and I kind of disrupted their nap yesterday. They wouldn't even go in their house last night. I had to go out and put them in there because of me ordering it. It didn't look right to them, so they didn't go in it. So they're interesting creatures, to say the least. But anyway, yeah, so today's project, we're going to get started on that. My first step is going to be same as when I replaced the floorboards in there, and that is going to be to take them off, take the bad sections off. And you know, I told you guys I do look at the comments on this channel on Lounge TV, and I just like to say to some people that I just don't understand the comments. But one of them said the whole floor is rotten underneath. No, it's not. I already checked. Like, I mean, I literally said that in the video. Obviously people don't watch everything in the video, they only watch parts of it, and then they comment. You shouldn't comment unless you're going to watch the whole thing and understand. But no, that's the only part that rotted, and it rotted because the same thing with these, right? Okay, so what happens is you get moisture that goes underneath, and let me show it on this one, because you get moisture that's underneath exactly where that pot is sitting, and it just stays there and it doesn't dry, so it rots out the wood. I mean, that's why that did it, because the plastic thing was sitting there and it was getting moisture underneath it, and it rotted out the wood. I thought I explained all that. If I didn't, I'm sorry, and I'm explaining it now. So yeah, I'm gonna get started. We'll get them boards off. I'm gonna have to like turn the camera on and off for each step that I'm doing, because Tom's not up yet, as usual. And yeah, it's 10 o'clock. Yeah, he's not up yet. He's a late riser. So I will do this, and you'll have to bear with me. I'll turn the camera on for each section and show you what I'm doing. Okay, I'm back for just a second. I have to put my hat this way because, man, the sun is really bad today as far as brightness. As far as heat, I love it. But yeah, so here's my tools I'm going to need for this, right? I have my pry bars. I hope you can see them. My hammer, 2 pry bars. Sometimes I find this one's a little bit easier to get into the nail because it's not as fat as that. And I'll get those nails out. Now, I want to address another comment that, and maybe some people just don't know and they comment what their opinion is or whatever, but somebody said use the pry bar to pry the wood apart instead of going after the nails because the nails are more tedious. Well, I don't want to damage other boards, and that's what happens if you use a pry bar, right, and you're using another board like this to pry it up. Then what happens is you scar this piece of wood up. I don't want to scar the piece of wood up or dent the wood, so that's why I go for the nails on this, because I want to save the other pieces of wood. So that's why I do it this way. Now, the other way to do this would be on this, would be to hammer it up right there. You hammer under there and knock it up, the nails loose, which would be easy to do on these, but you couldn't do that on the pieces that I did over there because you couldn't get underneath it to hammer it. So just explain that. I shouldn't always assume that somebody's just being like rude or anything like that in the comment sections. It could just be that some people just don't know. I guess I was taught by my dad, if you don't know what you're saying, you probably should not say anything. But hey, that's how you learn also. So that's why I want to explain the reasons why I do it. And sometimes I don't explain myself good enough of why I do a certain thing a certain way. So that's on me. So let me get started. I will take these off. Like I said, I can't show you because I can't hold the camera and do it at the same time. So let me get these things off and then I'll show you the next step. It was very easy to knock them up just with the hammer without even using the pry bars because the wood was rotten anyway. But I did discover something. Like this one here is fine, right? They're solid. So I can put screws in there. That's no problem at all. And this one, this easy fix, just one board. This one though, however, these 2 boards did rot. So I have to replace these 2 also. These are solid still, but I'm gonna have to replace these 2. Not a big deal. Luckily, I keep a lot of scrap wood, so I have stuff that I can use for that, and I'll replace that before I start cutting the boards down. Or I might cut the boards down first and see if I have enough left over from that wood there. It's interesting though that the wood rots like this on wood. This wood here that I got on this deck, that deck, and even the pavilion is from a hardware store that's nearby. I'm not going to mention any names, but so I've had that happen. Plus, if you see right here, I have these 2 boards I have to replace too at some point. They've been rotting out right there. Problem with that is I got to take that tabletop off to replace them. Not that big a deal. Nobody sits there anyway, so I'm not real worried about that right now. But that's another project in the future. And then I have to, you know, figure if I'm going to replace that, should I just replace all of them to make it all look even? Possibility. And right now, money's tight, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to replace these tops because these were totally rotten. But it's kind of funny because that happened. Like my front deck is wood from either Lowe's or Home Depot, and that is twice as old as, 3 times as old as this deck. And I have planter things on there that, you know, we water them and the water gets underneath there and there is nothing rotten. So it's kind of makes me feel like it's some compromised wood that I got. So anyway, let me get those pieces off, replace them first, and then I'll do the tops. Okay, so I cut the one piece right now. There we go. So there it is, but it has to be routered on this edge and this edge. And I do that before I put it down there because I can't run the router this way without touching this other wood. Plus, it's easier to do it while it's not on there. And the same thing with all of those tops over there, especially because around here I wouldn't even be able to get my router to go around it. So I will do all the routering before I put them up. But yeah, so there's that. Then I'll cut the other pieces, do the router in, and then what I have left over, I'll cut those 2 pieces for the braces that I need for right here and right here. So, all right, we're getting there. This is a pretty quick project to fix. And then, like I said, and then I have to wait for warmer weather to be able to stain this. And I'll stain this the same time I stain the pavilion over there where I replaced the wood. All the boards are cut now, and I attached these 2. So you can see I put some screws in there, and I didn't do them on the center of them because there's a nail in the center of the bottom one, and I don't want to hit them, so I had to go a little off center on some of them. Yeah, so they're all set. I will stain these when, because I'll only be staining this side and the ends. Same thing with this side and the ends when I after the top is on. So now my next step is going to be routering the tops, and then I can show you. I wish I could show you me routering, but I really can't. So, and what I have to do on this, if you can see, I'm going to be going all the way down here and this way, and the same thing there. And because of the way they're going to sit on here, like I said, I won't be able to get my router all the way to the corner of this, so I can't put them. You know, ideally it would be I would router them when they were on there, but what I got to do is just put them all together, and I'll use a clamp, go down the sides, and then I'll go on the other ends. So I wish I could show you how I'm going to do that, but I can't, because I can't hold the camera and do that at the same time, and I can't set the camera up. I have to do it in my shed, so I will show you the product at the end. So I got the one board done now, as you can see. Now this little line in there was already in there from when I got the piece of wood, so I'm not going to sand it down because it's in the middle of this thing. I'm not worried about. Maybe I will. You know what? It only goes up so far. I'll sand that off of it too. But yeah, so I routed this edge so it matches the other, and then I will and I sanded it. I'm going to sand this little rough edge over here off of that before I put it up, just to make it look better. And then I can put this. I'll put 2 screws in here, right here, 2 screws right in there, and that one will be done, and then I can go over to that one. As you can see, this, like I said, these are already ready for it, so all I got to do is like I said, this edge, 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 and this edge. I'll mark a little mark on each one so I don't mess up. So yeah, routering is really easy. I just, like I said, I clamp it to a table, and if you just go slow and steady pressure, I always find that it's easier to move it towards you than away, because you can't cut yourself. It's all, if you know what a router is, you can't cut yourself unless you turn it upside down or put your finger underneath it, which that would just be dumb, wouldn't it? Anyway, guys, let me get busy on the other ones, and then I can attach them. The routering is done now. So as you can see, this one's all set to go in. I just got to put the screws in, and this one is all routed nice now, and I just got to put the screws in, and then basically I'm done until the warm weather comes, so that I can put the or stain it, that and the wood out there. So I'll show you after I get the screws in, and then that'll be it for today. I love using the router. It's funny because, let me just tell you, when did I get into woodworking? Probably when I went to elementary school. It went up to 8th grade, and that was the first time that they had, in where I went to school in Camden, they had metal shop, print shop, wood shop, and automotive shop. And in 6th grade we just started going to those things. So I had wood, I remember having wood shop, and I had print shop. Then when we came down here, I took wood shop down here, and I mean, I was a slacker in school, so I didn't do everything, but it was like I learned some basic stuff, and the other stuff that I've learned, I've just learned by trial and error by doing it. So I love working with wood. As a matter of fact, it's, as you can tell by, you know, this deck, that deck, that deck, the tiki bar, I made all that, and the planter box and everything. So it's like, yeah, I work with wood. Not all the time, I'm not the best, but I like doing it. And like I said, I've replaced these, not a big deal. I love using a router. It's nice, it's almost therapeutic to me. So Let me just finish putting these in and then I'll show you what they look like. All right, I am finally done now. And Tom came out to hold the camera for me. But yeah, they're all attached now. I got the screws in there.
Ah, nice.
So now I just gotta stain them, but I have to wait for warmer weather. And here's the other one that's all done. This one, Tom, I already told them that I had to replace 2 of the boards under here because they were rotten bad.
Oh yeah.
So I have to stain them, but I only have to stain this side and this side on each one of them, and then the tops. So that's done. That's all sanded out there, so they're ready to be stained, and that's the end of that. My next project, because I was like thinking to myself, okay, what do I got to do next? Well, I got the fence to do, but I can't do that until that tree comes down, and that tree can't come down until it's not windy. So it's not going to be until next week probably for that. So, and matter of fact, on Monday next week, I'll probably start the duck pools. The first thing I want to do, I want to put the duck pool in there, which sounds pretty easy, but I got to get a hose system hooked up so that I can drain it real fast, you know, because it's going to get really dirty.
Makes sense.
And I don't want it to drain inside the pen, because then it'll be really sloppy.
Right.
Even though it's kind of sloppy anyway. And the other thing I want to do in there is I have to make some sort of ramp for them to be able to walk into it and to walk out of it, which will probably be just maybe if I have enough, like, not cinder blocks, but kind of concrete blocks. I had sawdust in me. I'll put that there so that they can have like steps to get in there and steps to get out. Yeah, that way they'll stop, because what they're doing is they're just playing with every water container I put in there. They're just playing it.
Right.
So now maybe the water that's for drinking, they won't play in as much if they're going to be playing in the pool.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah. So there's my project. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. I wish there was more how-to, like to show you how to use a router and stuff like that, but it's pretty easy. A router is just like, you just go like this and you just go slowly into it, you know, and don't go fast, and everything's slow. So I like to go in about like that, and then I'll go out like that, and then I'll just pull it all the way down like that and just come straight off like that to get that done. And then you just sand it afterwards, but slow. And if you're going to make it a big round, you only go like maybe 1/8 of an inch at a time. You lower the blade 1/8 of an inch at a time, so that way you can get it even. If you have a really good blade, you could try it right away, but you know, you might get, that's just slow and steady pressure. And always use clamps to hold your wood down while you're doing it, unless it's already down on there. I hope you appreciated this video. I have absolutely nothing to drink right now. I wish I did. Till next time, grab yourself something cold to drink. Put your feet and relax. I'll meet you at the lounge doing something, I'm sure.